Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. We are back with another makeup tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how I got this Halloween-ish glam. So let's go ahead and jump into this tutorial. I'm starting off as always priming my eyes and carving underneath my brows using the Makeup Revolution Concealer in the shade C12. Once I'm done spreading it across my eye area, I'm going to go in with a fluffier brush and just kind of pat it down so it dries a little faster. Next, I'm going in with the Dermablend Loose Setting Powder and applying this on the outer part of the eye area. This is going to make it easier to blend out the shadow on the outer edge and give me more of that seamless blend. I'm then going to apply some tape on the side of my eye, and then we can go ahead and jump into shadows. The shadows that I'm using today are mostly from Melkior. The first one I'm using is called Captive Gray, and I'm going to first use the shadow to kind of create the look that I'm going for. We're doing a kind of winged out cut crease, so I'm kind of mapping out the shape of the look that I'm doing, and then I'm going to go ahead and pack on the color right after. I'm going in with a Morphe M506 brush, as I always do. I'm going to be using two of these brushes as well as the M507 to apply the darkest shadow that I'm going to use on the crease. But once I have that first gray eyeshadow on, I'm going to go in with Soft Gray from Melkior and use this to blend out the outer edges of Captive Gray. Again, I'm using a Morphe M506 and I'm just using light circular motions to blend the edges out. Then to give the crease some depth, I'm going to go in with, I think this is called Anthracite. I'm not really sure if that's how you pronounce it, but it's another shadow from Melkior, and I'm going to mix this with Noir from Anastasia and using a Morphe M507. This one's a little bit smaller than the M506. I'm going to apply this onto the crease as well and create some depth there. Now that our crease colors are on, we can go ahead and start cutting our crease. I'm using the Makeup Revolution Concealer again in the shade C1. This is the concealer that I always use to cut my crease. I love this concealer so much because it does dry down into more of like a matte finish. So it works perfectly to apply shadows on top of. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and cut the crease using a flat concealer brush and just make sure to take my time so that way my lines are super sharp and clean. For the lid, I'm going to be going in with the Be Bella Go Pro Volume 1 palette. I'm using the shade Truffle. I'm not really sure why it's called that because when I think of truffle, I think of like a chocolate color, but this is definitely like gray. But anyways, I'm going to use that to fill in the lid space there. I'm going in with a larger shader brush to fill in the lid, and then I'm going to use a smaller one just to get really close to the edges of that cut crease. At this point, I felt like my eyes were kind of lacking the depth that I was going for, so I went back in with Anthracite, which is the darkest gray of the three that we use, as well as a little bit of Noir, and reapplied that onto the crease to kind of bring back that darkness and that contrast that I was going for between the crease and the lid space. I'm using a small detailing brush to do this just to get really, really close to the edges without having to like mess up or go over the line of that cut crease. I'm then going to add a winged liner using the Pretty Vulgar ink gel liner. Nothing too crazy here. I'm just going in with a small little brush from Sigma. So this orange detailing is definitely the part that took me the longest amount of time, but once you're done, it's totally going to be worth it. So to do this step, I used the Danessa Myricks waterproof cushion color in the shade Totally Tangerine. I used a small little paintbrush that I got from Hobby Lobby, so I'll make sure to put some more information about this specific brush in the description box because it's not like a brush that you can get from Morphe or something like that. But it's really small, so it works perfect for getting like really clean details like this. I move really slow with this step because I'm not great at creating like straight lines, so I have to kind of work in little small sections. So for this step, I pretty much just followed the line of the cut crease and drew like a orange line over that. And I also went over the liner that I did and outlined the top and the outer edge of it. Then to clean up any little lumps or unevenness, I went back in with the NYX matte liquid liner and I just kind of smoothed over like those little areas that may have needed to be touched up. I'm going in with mascara next from Wanderlust. I'm going to apply a couple of coats to my natural lashes so that way they blend really easily into the falsies that I'm going to be using. The falsies that I'm using today are also from Lilly lashes, and these are in the style Mykonos. I popped those on using a pair of tweezers and then just pressed my natural lashes and the falsies together using a pair of lash curlers. Alright guys, so now that the eyes are done, I'm going to go ahead and move on to skin. To prep my skin, I'm first going to go in with the Covergirl Skin Smoothing Primer. I like the fact that this primer has more of like that moisturizer type of feel, so it works really well under more matte foundations. I'm going to be using a matte foundation today, so I wanted to use a primer that was going to be a little bit more moisturizing, but I love the fact that this foundation also has that smoothing effect, so my pores and everything aren't showing underneath the foundation either. Then for my foundation, I'm using the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC45. I mixed a little bit of the L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation in the shade Classic Tan, just so that the foundation isn't too matte, and I'm going to apply that using the Juno & Co Microfiber Velvet Sponge. To conceal, I'm using the new Jouer Essential High Coverage Concealer. This one is in the shade Dulce de Leche. I'm going underneath the eyes, a little bit on the chin, as well as around the mouth, because those are the areas that I like to brighten mostly. And I'm just using the same sponge that I use to apply my foundation. To set everything, I'm going to go back in with that Dermablend loose setting powder, and with a brush, I'm going to go over all the areas that I applied my concealer. Now it's time to bring some color back into the skin, honey, because we're looking a little ghostly right now. So I'm using the Makeup Forever bronzer in the shade 30M, and I'm applying this onto the forehead, a little on the nose, jawline, as well as the cheekbones. I don't typically like to apply blush, so I feel like the bronzer kind of does like the blush for me. And then I'm going to go ahead and move back to the eyes and start smoking out that lower lash line. I'm going in with that shade Captive Gray from Melkior and applying that onto the lower lash line first, then smoking it out using Soft Gray from Melkior, using that same M506 brush that I use on the crease. And then I'm going to go in with Anthracite and Noir from Anastasia and get that really close to the lashes to smoke it out even more. I'm adding a little bit of black liner to the waterline just to kind of bring the look together. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 liner in Perversion. I'm going to place a little bit of lash primer from L'Oreal onto my lower lashes before I go in with mascara, and while that's drying, I'm going to work on my brows. I'm going to use the same thing that I always use for my brows, which is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Ebony. I like to create little hair strokes in my brows to give them a fuller effect, but nothing too crazy because I do prefer more of like a natural looking brow. I'm just going to go in with the number 12 brush from Anastasia as well and just kind of drag some little hair-like strokes into my brows. To set them, I'm also going to use the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, and then I'm going to add some mascara to my lower lashes now that my lash primer is dry. Next, I'm going to use the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray because we want our makeup to last all day long. We don't want any transferring or anything like that. No makeup on anybody's shirts when we give in hugs and stuff. So I'm going to spritz that all over and just kind of use my little fan to dry it off. Then we can move on to highlighting. I'm going in with the Makeup Addiction Holy Glow Volume 1 palette and using one of the highlighting shades. I'm going to apply that onto the forehead, on the cheekbones, a little on the inner corner, the nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. Now you guys know I like to have like a beaming highlight, so I'm also going to go in with the Cover FX glitter drops in the shade Mirage and apply just a small amount onto the cheekbones there. For my lips, I'm starting off lining them using the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Downtown Beauty. I'm going to line my lips and also fill in the outer corners of them, so that way when I apply my lipstick later on, I get more of like that smoother blend. To fill them in, I'm using the Makeup Addiction Matte Liquid Lipstick in Barefaced. This is like a neutral type of nude color. So I'm going to apply that and just kind of blend it out using my fingers and really making sure that it blends in really smoothly with the lip liner. And of course, I gotta add a little bit of gloss, so I'm gonna use the NYX Intense Butter Gloss in the shade Cookie Butter. And that pretty much concludes this look, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna be doing like super intense like Halloween looks, but I at least wanted to get some like, you know, Halloween-ish looks out there. So I really hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Definitely subscribe to my channel for more makeup looks, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next one.